October 2023, Tyson Fury, a man who is the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, who claims to be the best heavyweight of this generation and of all time, and his fans will tell you, well, if you don't think he's the best heavyweight of all time, right, goes in there with Francis Ngannou, who was making his professional debut under Queensberry rules. He had never had a professional fight under Queensberry rules. He had primarily competed in mixed martial arts, specifically the UFC. Pro debut, not really known. We couldn't really tell what we were going to get. Tyson Fury, who really should have been going and looking at undisputed, was fighting Francis Ngannou. And going into that fight, when anyone, Adam Cattrall, even hinted that why doesn't Tyson, instead of fighting Ngannou on his debut, when there are available contenders out there who are willing to go in and fight Tyson Fury, like your Frank Sanchez's, like your Martin Bacolis, like your Arsene Makhmedovs, why doesn't he fight them? And you have Frank Warren coming out and saying, what planet are you on? They don't bring any money, this, that and the other. Well, did Tom Schwartz when you sold that as a world title fight? You know, lineal heavyweight champion. Ooh, put it up as a world title fight. And I remember at the time, I think they were saying, wasn't he highly ranked by WBO? So he could do it then, but he can't do it in 2023. So you give him Francis Ngannou. Okay, he goes in there. He fights 10 rounds with Ngannou. He gets dropped. He looks bad. He loses plenty of rounds in there. And arguably, some people would say, lost the fight. A lot of people would say he lost that fight to Francis Ngannou. Even people who don't even particularly like Francis Ngannou were saying, no, Francis Ngannou won that fight. So then, fast forward 6 months later, actually less than 6 months later, Anthony Joshua, a man who Tyson Fury and his fans would say is a bum, he's a dosser, he's a bodybuilder, etc, etc, etc. He's no good. Goes in there with the same guy, 2 rounds, drops him 3 times, knocks him nearly out cold, never comes close to hitting the deck himself, and absolutely obliterates him. Not only that, in his previous fight, a guy, Otto Wallin, who cut Tyson Fury up real bad, and with a different referee, maybe Fury would have had a loss that night, goes in there, doesn't put a foot wrong, stops him in 5 rounds, never even comes close to even remotely losing a round, much less losing the fight. But Joshua is a bum, he's a dosser, all that stuff. Yeah, but Fury is the greatest heavyweight of all time. This is a guy, again, who has shamefully ducked Alexander Usyk for the last 2 years. And you could say, well, he's fighting him now. Why didn't he fight him when he had the chance a couple of years ago, 2 years ago? 2022, fought Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua said he'd be willing to step aside. I need a tune-up fight. For what? You just fought Deontay Wilder. You know, all this kicking the can down the road last year. You know, saying, oh, it's Alexander Usyk. So bad. Your own trainer, Sugar Hill Stewart, when he came to the UK, even said, I'm here to train Lawrence Okolie. I'm not here to train Tyson Fury. He even let the cat out of the bag then and there. Right? Anthony Joshua goes in there tonight against Francis Ngannou and does what he needed to do, does what Tyson Fury should have done. And here's the thing, people are going to look at that fight and say, well, what's Joshua doing fighting an MMA guy? You know, Joshua should be going down the road looking for world titles, this, that and the other. Joshua's not holding the division up for one. Joshua's not a champion for one, right? We're not holding him to the same standard because we're haters. Because Tyson Fury has a belt, has a title that he hasn't defended in well over a year. All right, and he has the chance to defend it or unify, and instead he picks to fight Francis Ngannou in a non-title fight, claimed to be the best heavyweight in the world, claimed to be the greatest heavyweight of this era. You've had 6 world title fights, 3 of them against the same guy. You've not fought any of your contemporaries, really, with the exception of Dylan White, Derek Chisora, and, you know, who was Vladimir Klitschko, Deontay Wilder. That's it. Frank Sanchez, Bacoli, Arsene Makhmedov, Andy Ruiz, Zhilei Zhang, Joseph Parker, etc, etc, etc. Tyson Fury, he is a tremendous talent, but god damn is he disingenuous. And this fight right here shows to me how far he slipped as a fighter. Oh yes, it does. He went in there, and yes, you could say he didn't do the adequate preparation. I think if Anthony Joshua went in there with Francis Ngannou tonight and didn't do the adequate preparation, he would have still won inside the distance, no questions asked. The gulf was that big. Is Fury regressed that much as a fighter now? That now we look at him and we think, you know what level are you even at now? Because you're going in there against Ngannou, who against Joshua didn't look particularly good and was bounced off the canvas and knocked out cold by Anthony Joshua, who didn't need to get out of first gear. You went life and death with this guy. You're supposed to be the best heavyweight in the planet, on the planet. How far have you regressed? I think very far. You know, Hatman Mays has the theory because we're seeing Tyson Fury be hyper aggressive, and really we are. At the press conference, the first kickoff press conference with Usyk, it's just I've seen him animated, I've seen him frustrated with fighters, but never to that extent. And he theorizes that maybe it's just the fact that the mind knows what it wants to do in terms of training, in terms of what the body should be doing, but the body's not able to do it, and that's frustrating him, that's getting to him. And also the fact that it's obvious he didn't want this Alexander Usyk fight. It's obvious for the world to see that he didn't want this Alexander Usyk fight. He's seen a bit of vulnerability, and he's seen a check that he just couldn't turn down, and now he's fighting Alexander Usyk. And the pressure that the public, myself included, people like me who do videos, have put on him, people like Adam Cattrall, shout out to him, have put on Tyson Fury for this fight. He's now kind of, like, oh, well, now I have to fight him, and now I'm pissed off because I have to fight Alexander Usyk because I'm fighting someone who is an athlete, trains all year round, takes care of himself, is levels above Francis Ngannou, has schooled Anthony Joshua twice, and alright, fair enough, styles make fights. We've seen that with Joseph Parker's Eddie Zhang. But nevertheless, I have to fight this guy now, and I'd rather just take these easy fights and make a lot of money. I'd rather fight Derek Chisora on pay-per-view at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium and make a killing against someone who really should have retired 5-6 years ago. I'd rather fight Francis Ngannou on his pro debut in Saudi Arabia and make a killing. I'd rather do this. I'd rather go and fight John Jones in his pro debut and make a killing. I don't want to be fighting Alexander Usyk. You got to. You tied into it now. You've moved the date twice. Meant to be December 23rd. Had to get moved to February 17th. Now it's moved to May the 18th. Has to happen now. Anthony Joshua tonight showed for me how far Tyson Fury has regressed as a fighter. Has to. And, you could say, oh, gee, maybe he just did. Look, I don't doubt that he didn't do his due diligence in terms of training. I don't doubt that. But there's no way, unless he literally didn't lift a finger until fight night, he could have looked that bad back in October for Joshua to go and do this now. No way. Tyson Fury's got a big problem. All right? And whatever his fans want to say, who, think it's blasphemy to even hint at criticism, well, he deserves the criticism at the end of the day. A great fighter as he is, a tremendously talented fighter as he is, outside the ring, this guy is disingenuous. And at the end of the day, and I've said this once and I'll say it again, Tyson Fury doesn't know these guys who are running around defending him as like it's like he's their god. He doesn't know you from Billy the Jack. All he cares about is grain. That's all he cares about. He cares about his money. He doesn't care about you. Tyson, I defend you on social media. I go on everyone's post and say this, that, and the other. Ha! Who the hell are you? I'll see you later. That's what he'd be like. That's literally what he'd be like. Who the hell are you? See you later. I don't care. Are you paying for my fight? Yeah. Good. There you go. Well done. Pat on the back. Job done. He patted me on the back. Achievements. Well done. That's my thoughts on it. Anthony Joshua did what Tyson Fury should have done. Obliterated Ngannou in 2 rounds. And credit to him. If Fury beats Alexander Usyk, or even if he loses, quite frankly, him against Joshua, win or lose, I'd be taking Joshua every day of the week. At this point now. Prime for prime, I would take Fury, but now, I think Fury, there's a very, very good chance that the body just ain't able for it. Certainly judging by the Ngannou performance. And listen, I'm doing this video. I love this sport. And I wanted to see the best fight the best. And the way Fury has handled this situation, and the way, when you have fans who know who Alexander Usyk is and they know who Fury is, why aren't they fighting? Why are they fighting? Well, in the UFC they'd fight. Well, in boxing, but why? Why is this happening? Why is the fight being pushed back? Why is this? Why is this? Why is this? It's never Alexander Usyk. It isn't. And I think that the fact that we've had to wait 2 years when we could have had this done a long time ago is a damn indictment. Damn indictment on the sport, damn indictment on Fury. Because it's all been him, as far as I'm concerned. And that performance against Ngannou, could contrast that to Joshua, shows how far he's regressed. That's it. So you can call it rant, call it whatever you want. I don't really care. But I'm just saying what everyone else is thinking. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it. Smash the like button if you could. Hit subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And yeah, peace. Boxing today, it seems like there's news breaking every single day. There's fights being announced almost every day. Big fights at that.
boxing's in a good place. And sometimes, I don't know about you guys, but I find it a little bit difficult at times just to stay on top of everything, between checking Twitter, checking boxing scene, going on BoxRec to see if there's anything announced. There's a lot to look for. There's a lot of platforms you need to go on. And if you look there on screen, you'll see today's sponsors, Boxing Showtimes. They've made an app that does it all for you. Look at that on screen. It shows you where you can get tickets. It gives you all the latest news. It gives you the tail of the tape. It gives you all the card details. It's going to give you details about Fury Usyk. It's going to give you details about Joshua Ngannou. It's also going to have a lot more little things thrown in there as well. The link is in the comment section. It's going to be pinned on this video and more besides soon enough. And not only that, in the comment section, there's also going to be a link, a G-Man promo, which means you can access a little bit more without ads. Now that, to quote Eddie Hearn, is a game changer. Now let's crack on with the video.